Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. This is Wind Waker Unflooded, the 3D modeling fan art project where we are bringing to life the land of Hyrule as it could have existed within the world and art style of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I'm so excited for today's video, and it's been so inspiring to work on this 3D modeling project because there's so many different approaches that go into it, right? As I'm bringing to life the land of Hyrule below the Great Sea, the world that we never got to explore, right, extrapolating from the islands of the Great Sea, turning those islands into mountaintops, right, and extrapolating that world that we only got to see a small portion of, right? There's times where I'm extrapolating, right, where I am saying, okay, maybe Dragon Roost Island could be Death Mountain. That feels confirmed by in-game evidence. Forest Haven could be the Kokiri Forest. Maybe Windfall Island's Kakariko. Maybe the, Forsaken Fortress is the Gerudo Fortress, and I can kind of connect these dots in ways that feel like I'm digging into in-game evidence. That's one option. Sometimes I'm bringing in locations from other games, whether that's the Arbiter's Grounds or Kakariko, right, or Lake Hylia. Locations that make sense within this world that I think, okay, I can pull in all these locations from other games to kind of fully realize and round out this world. But then there's another option, and that's making something new, right, coming from my artistic perspective, coming from what we agree on as a community as well, on, okay, what do we think makes sense within this world? Let's keep adding things. And it can be from our vision. It can be what makes sense to us to help tell this story, to help show Hyrule before the Great Flood. So this is Tingle-Land, an amusement park below Tingle Island. And I love this because this is something that I think really speaks to that freedom to, I'm not sure that, Zelda's ever had a theme park in it. And I really love all that suggests because, right, it speaks to a technological progress, right? This is a Hyrule that already we've allowed, right, trains and transportation and developments in industrialization, right, like that with the way that they use technology to carry out trade. Obviously, that's important, but developments in railway lead to coasters. That's not too far of a leap. And so amusement parks, right, are just a great example of how a development in technology, right, can lead to an amusement park. But it's also, I think, I want to suggest a disparity between the haves and the have-nots. That this is a prosperous land of Hyrule for some, and that prosperity can lead them to, right, this land of amusement, to Tingle-Land, right? But it's a distraction, and I like its geographical location. It's kind of on the borders of the prairies of Hyrule, right, kind of overlooking Lon Lon Ranch in central Hyrule, but it's also not far from the border with the Gerudo Desert. Geographically, that's kind of where it's at on the map. It's to the west. And so it's just like this kind of, it's an ivory tower in a way, Tingle Tower in a sense, right, is able to kind of be this isolated land of prosperity, right, where the haves are separated from the have-nots. And I think that's just that's part of the story I want to tell, is to show that there's, how does the world get so bad that a flood is the only option when Ganondorf returns, that a flood is inevitable? How do things get so bad? And there's ways in which that we can show that we can show disparity, right? That you can show that there's areas of prosperity, right? And then there are areas that are, that not everyone has access to the wealth. That is not necessarily shared. There are divides, right? Is this prosperity something that the Gerudo participate in, or even the Gorons and Zora, right? And as we see in Ocarina of Time, right, the king of Hyrule tried to unify the lands, and yet there is still a Zora king. There's still a Gerudo king, right? And so what does that mean? That these cultures have been assimilated. And so I think that there's a lot of just interesting ideas about Hyrule and its politics and the world building there, and how you can show how this all points to, these larger ideas. And so I think an amusement park, it's well, yes, it's fun. It's this nice little, it can be a really cute place. Sure, we can follow all of those threads. But I think I'm also just interested in how this points to it points to a distribution of the wealth. And I think that we can show that in the world building in some really interesting ways. Because I think that that's important. And I guess I think that's so cool that you can do that in art, is that you can use art to say things. Because of course, you can look at, and I know so many of us have played the Wind Waker, and then what it says about tradition and when you hold on to it and when you have to leave it behind. And I know that's something that I'm sure so many of us have been affected by, right? What the Wind Waker says about tradition, about family, about the desire to go beyond your own door, to explore, to see the world, to make a difference, right? What it means to be a hero. Is a hero something old-fashioned? What does it mean to be a hero of today? And Wind Waker shows that, like, well, you know, swinging a sword around is one part of being a hero. But then you go to Windfall Island and you make a difference in a community, right? You're there for the village children of Windfall, right? You're able to ease people's regrets. You're able to be there to make dreams come true, right? You're able to give Linzo an apprentice, the pictographer, right? He's able to pass on his knowledge and share a passion. You're able to unite the love between Anton and Lindo, right? Is that her name? And it's like like there's so much stuff that, like, I think Link's true heroism is in those aspects. But I'm just rambling. I love that art has something to say, and I think even just through the environmental storytelling, I hope that in Wind Waker Unflooded, I can try to express something as well that is interesting. But without further ado, I think that's enough for this video. Comment down below what you want to see me work on next in this world. And without further ado, I'll let you go.
Now, if you're looking for other ways to support me, as always, you can support me as a creator by becoming a member on Patreon. There you'll get access to all kinds of exclusive behind-the-scenes content like in-progress outlines, scripts, storyboards, rough cuts, and even soundtracks for my newest films. By becoming a member, you'll also be thanked in the credits for any film I finish during your membership. You can also support me by streaming my music. I compose all of the scores for my own short films, and you can listen to those soundtracks on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to music. Just look up Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Y'all have a wonderful day, and without further ado, I'll let you go.